working out, working it. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Allie. I'm on a fantabulous weight loss journey and hopefully you'll come along for the ride. And today we're going to be talking about working out, exercising, and being in a bigger body. Because this is a topic that I don't see very many people talking about. And you know me, I'm going to give it to you straight. So let's just jump right into it. First things first, I want to get all of the disclaimers out of the way. If you are somebody who is starting out at a higher weight and you are in your weight loss journey and you are not able to stand for long periods of time, or you find it difficult to do any type of workout that's not seated, then you should absolutely do that, right? This is one of those instances where I am going to tell you, you need to listen to your body. If you are having pain, if you are having discomfort, something is not right and you need to stop and talk to your doctor. Now, if you are somebody who is able-bodied but larger and you're just starting out in your weight loss journey, I am going to give you some options that you can look into to get you started. And we're going to talk about the important mindset that you need to have about working out. So, first things first, if you are somebody who needs to lay down or be seated for your workouts, absolutely do that. 100%, that is better than nothing. So if you, for example, there was a lady who posted in one of the support groups just the other day that she was trying to run around and keep up with her small child and she sprained her ankle, and now she's frustrated because she is now in a seated position, right? And unable to work out. In those instances, right? Resistance bands, light weights for arms or potentially for ankles could be a great substitution to get you started or to keep your momentum going if you are just starting out, right? Because part of what's so important about changing your lifestyle and making healthy choices going forward, part of that is finding workarounds. Perfect example, when I started my weight loss journey 54 pounds ago, I was not comfortable walking, doing cardio, doing any of those things. I would get heavily, very winded very quickly. And there were times that it was uncomfortable on my joints. And I really worried about that. So what did I do? I found a way around it. So I have my resistance bands. I have some ankle weights. I also have some, just some light dumbbells. And I started out, no lie, 100% transparency, laying in bed. And whenever there was a commercial break on the TV show, I would either get up or I would lay there and do some sort of Pilates or, doing my little arm curls and everything else. And then when the commercial was over, I would stop. And then when the commercial came on, I would do it again. And that was more activity than I had previously been doing. As sad as that sounds now, because I can do a lot more now, right? Like I'm physically able. So starting out, you want to give yourself a little bit of grace. You want to give yourself the opportunity to work up to it. You're not going to hit the pavement the first day and run a mile. And that's okay, because you may get to that point at some point in your weight loss journey, but it doesn't have to be today. And you want to be strategic about how you implement working out into your routine. Okay, so We've got our, our lighter weights, seated, laying down. Pilates is great for that. If you're also looking for something that's low impact, walking is a good option. Again, that's going to depend on your start weight and how well you handle it. Swimming is an excellent option. If you have a friend or a family member or a neighbor or a YMCA or a gym that has a pool, that is a great option to take that weight off of those joints so that you can get in the exercise. Now, if that's not something that you have access to, that's okay. There are many exercises that you can do. I highly encourage you to do a search on YouTube, get a couple of videos going, find some people that you like, right? And do those seated or laying down exercises. Again, I am a huge fan of Pilates because a lot of it is laying down. There's still a lot of it that's not. But, right, if that's your starting point, go for it. I did, and I loved it. And I looked forward to that time when the commercial would come on, and I'm like, okay, here I go. I'm going to try to do this, Get excited about it because you're doing more than you ever did before. Okay. Next up, let's talk about walking, because there is this movement right now in like the gym bro, fitness guru garbage that you guys have heard me talk about before, where they're saying that walking doesn't count as exercising. Listen, I don't know where these people get their information, but that is quite literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Okay? Especially if you are somebody like me who started out at 285 pounds, walking is a big damn deal. Okay? One of the very first things that I did in my weight loss journey is I started parking out at the end of the parking lot when going into the grocery store just to get in those extra steps. And that was a big deal. So do not let them tell you that walking doesn't count, because that is absolute garbage. And walking is great, right? You see a lot of people out there, they're like, oh, get your steps in, get your steps in. Walking is great. And if that's all you can do, then do it. Go for it. You've only got 10 minutes, then do 10 minutes. You've only got 30 minutes, do 30 minutes, right? You don't have to be out there for hours and hours. If you want to get a walking pad and walk inside, excuse me, I've got the hiccups, do that. I do want to mention that Facebook Marketplace is a great place to find used but still in good condition workout equipment. I am currently on the hunt to get a heavier weight set, because I know that I'm going to need it coming up here in the future. So if you're not looking to drop, hundreds of dollars on workout equipment, that's okay. Make sure that you're checking out Amazon. Make sure you're checking out Facebook Marketplace. There are a lot of people who start a fitness journey and then use their equipment one time and then sell it. So you can really find some gems there. So make sure you check those out. Now, what if you are one of those people that I referred to earlier, like myself, who started out at a much higher weight, and you feel limited in what you can do, whether it's with resistance bands or, light weights, and you're like, Allie, I'm really frustrated. What can I do? You're going to want to focus on nutrition, because that is the main component of your weight loss. If you're on a GLP-1 medication, right, then that is absolutely going to help you on your journey, but nutrition is going to be key. It doesn't matter how much appetite suppression you have. It doesn't matter, how much exercise you're doing. If you are eating like garbage, then you are going to be actively working against yourself. You will be consuming the garbage, and then you will be working off the garbage, and then you'll be consuming more garbage, and then they'll work off the garbage, right? Like, it's a vicious cycle, and you don't want to be caught in that. And that's one of the reasons why I always recommend that if you are in a good place mentally to track your calories, I highly recommend that you do that. Again, if that's not for you, if that upsets you, it triggers you, right? I completely understand. Then you need to work with a nutritionist or a dietitian and get a meal plan and then follow it to the T. Because if your nutrition is out of whack, then your weight loss is going to be all over the place, and it's going to be frustrating and discouraging for you because you're not going to be able to pinpoint where you're going wrong. I mentioned a little bit earlier about giving yourself grace. This is really important. It's super important, especially if you are somebody like myself starting out at a higher weight and you become frustrated with everything that you can't do. It's going to be okay. It's going to be better. The first time that I got on my Peloton bike, I was dying. I was like, this is gonna suck. I'm gonna be out of breath. This is horrible, right? And 10 minutes in, I was ready to give up. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get easier. And as the weight comes off of you, it will help to keep you motivated. But even on those weeks where you're not losing weight, if you're keeping track of everything else, right? You're tracking your calories, you're tracking your exercise, not necessarily to account for calories, but that you're doing it and that you're being consistent, right? It will help you during those times of, not losing weight. When you're looking at the scale, you can go, oh, you know what? I'm not surprised that it's not showing any weight loss this week because I was really doing a lot with weights. And I probably gained some muscle. So let's see what next week looks like. And you can just move on, right? No self-deprecation. No, I'm a failure, right? We're gonna get rid of those thought processes because not only are they not helpful, but I'm here to tell you that they're not accurate. You are not a failure. You are absolutely making progress, and you may not see it on the scale, and that's okay, because eventually you will. And it's a lot easier for me to sit back and say that now that I've lost 54 pounds, than it was for me to say that to myself at 285 pounds, because that version of me was like, this sucks. This is hard. I don't want to do this. I'm not getting the results that I want. Other people are losing 5 pounds a week, and I'm barely losing 1. That is how you sabotage yourself. That is how you throw in the towel and say, oh, just forget it. I'll just go back to just doing what I was doing before. Oh, forget it. I'm just going to eat this pint of ice cream because I'm sad. Right? I've been there. I get it. That box of Girl Scout cookies, you swore up and down you were only going to have 2. And then the whole box is gone. I know you. You are me. And I have done the same thing. And then the shame and the guilt and the self-deprecation. But guess what? You can let all of that go. We don't have to do that anymore, right? Because we're on the right track. We're doing things right this time for us because it makes us feel better. And we will get there. It's not a race. Do not compare yourself to other people. We will get there. Right, Kevin? We're going to get there. He wants under the blanket. Hang on. All right, I got him situated. So we're going to be consistent. We're going to do the best we can. Now, one last thing that I want to throw out, and this is very important. If you are on a GLP-1 medication and you are having a particularly hard day or week or a few days, either after your shot, or you're having nausea, diarrhea, constipation, extreme fatigue, right? That was the big thing for me when I first started. If you are battling side effects, if you are able to focus on your nutrition, then it does not become a 100% requirement that you work out for that week. And I know that there are some people who are going to disagree with me, and that's okay, right? There's room for everybody at the table. Here's the thing. I don't think there are enough people talking about how we need to accommodate real life, right? Because there are going to be situations where in real life, you're not going to be able to make it to the gym, or you're not going to be feeling well, or you're sick or whatever, and you take a week off from working out. And that's okay as long as you're focusing on the nutrition. When I first started on this weight loss journey, I didn't work out at all. Zero cardio, zero working out. None. And I was still able to lose weight, because if you're focusing on the nutrition, it will get you there. And then you can add in the exercise once you get to a better place. And I've mentioned this before, and I want to say it again, because I know there are a lot of new people on this weight loss journey. If you are just starting out and you're having severe side effects, the longer you are on a dose, the better it gets. The more your body gets used to it. So where a lot of people struggle is they titrate up every month, right? And then they're constantly dealing with side effects, and they're going, when am I going to have a chance to work out? I spend every weekend sick for 2 or 3 days from side effects from this medication. When is it that I'm supposed to work out? Then I've got super appetite suppression for days after that. I'm not getting enough calories, and I'm supposed to work out on top of that? I personally don't recommend that. That is a really great way to just run yourself into the ground. The exercise will come. Where you need to focus is the nutrition. And then once you reach kind of a stable point, then you can focus on both. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'd love to have you along for the ride. And make sure you check out my other videos, because I have other tips and tricks. I have weekly update videos from when I very first started my journey, so you can kind of see some of the things that I've had to battle along the way. And as always, be kind, rewind.